And with the intro MC.
That Alite High Phrase Podcast. ACDJ on the right of me. Normally don't have the center seat, but Xhalida looks so comfortable. You got your spot.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you being here, making your way out to the High Pod.
Not many girls will walk down that dark alleyway towards a
With a
strange
beautiful house in the
garage.
front.
Right?
With a strange garage to see two brownish type people in here.
Well,
So this is-
there's some curb appeal to the house.
Yeah, that is actually walking down a dark alley.
Yeah, you'd be
Two
like, these people are
brownish
rich.
type Men. Actually,
Yeah.
that's.
But we've met before,
dangerous.
so we've met before.
One thing I want to ask first, with this young lady sitting across from me, is where the hell have you been in this world? Like, tell me the countries you've been to in this world.
Oh, we're gonna start off with traveling.
Right, away.
Yeah. I think my first solo trip, which didn't make my dad very happy. I was like, I'm going to Mexico.
Mexico.
With who? By myself.
So when you say solo, you mean like totally?
Yeah.
Just you?
Yeah, just me.
Damn.
Yeah. It was good. That was the
Is
first
this a normal
one.
thing, going by yourself?
After this trip, yeah.
Okay.
Before it was Costa Rica with a bunch of friends doing like festivals and stuff, like hippie festivals on the beach. And then I was like, you know what? I need to do this by myself. So Mexico was the first one.
Wow.
Got my feelers, had to practice my Spanish, and it had to be really quick.
That's good.
And then it just became, I guess that was my addiction for a bit.
And there was nothing that deterred you on that first trip? No scary situations, nothing that would prevent you from doing it again?
A couple.
Because
Yeah,
it's hard. Like, traveling as a dude by himself is pretty rough. And, like,
Yeah.
a girl, it adds that extra element
Oh,
of
for sure.
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we both have like the same percentage of getting jumped, I think.
Yeah,
for
100%.
Sure.
For money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dangerous situations. Like the first time in Mexico, it was just timing. I had left my hostel to do like an excursion by myself. I went to go find some pyramids or whatever, and then my phone was off for the whole day because I didn't have any service where I was going. But after I turned my phone off, my phone back on, it was blowing up, and my dad's like, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And I was like, "What the hell happened?" Someone got shot like a block from.
Oh, wow. Dad was on the case.
Oh my gosh! And it was like on the news in back in Vancouver. I
Damn.
had no idea until like I turned my phone on like the next day,
Or he had like a Xhalida tracker on his phone.
or that.
Making sure
Yeah,
exactly
GPS.
where you are the whole
Yeah,
time.
I had
Got
no
a
idea,
GPS.
but I was like, oh, if I was there like an extra day, I don't know.
Damn.
Where else have you gone? Let's name the places off.
Mexico,
Yeah.
Costa Rica,
Costa Rica.
Bermuda,
Oh, wow.
Colombia, Panama. I already said Costa Rica.
Yeah, yeah. Did you go to Colombia?
I did, yeah.
Colombia? Wow.
I
So
only spent-
Latin countries.
Yeah, I love Spanish. I love
Love the
like
Latin vibe.
culture
And obviously
as
you
well.
love sunshine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
Vitamin D is a thing.
Got to. It's been a thing like every
Greenland.
winter. Every winter I'll leave. Like usually around.
Oh, that's
this
so
time.
ideal.
It kind
That's
of
so
messed me up
ideal.
this year because I like looked at the calendar. I'm like, this is when I leave. Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I should go somewhere. But yeah, it's just.
So the reason I asked you this is because now you've been locked down and shut down in your country. How has that changed your music? Have you noticed that there's been a change in you as an artist because you haven't traveled this year?
I can't compare it to before because I was writing, but I wasn't taking myself seriously as a musician while I was traveling. It was all just writing while I was traveling. So I don't think it changed my music. It definitely has influenced by like staying here for sure. I think it's influenced me like having more of a desire to explore BC, but not. I don't think it's necessarily with the music.
And so it's not a
changing.
muse for you? You're traveling or anything? Like when you meet other people and you're like, oh, you meet some Costa Rican, kid, and you're like, oh, I'm inspired. And
For sure it has.
Right, that's inspiring, right? If you travel, obviously you get inspired in art.
For sure it has. It's more of like experiencing the culture of other people. I'm just always people watching when I'm, of course, traveling. What else do you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
But also connecting with nature. Like there's so many different landscapes that I've seen that just blew me away to like tears. That have definitely influenced my like connection with nature and like helped me with my writing.
Yeah.
Helped me to like envision myself, embody whatever's around me. So yeah.
Have you had a chance to perform outside of the country?
No.
Not yet.
No, I just started doing the music thing in 2020.
So when you say you just started doing it, like you started actually proactively releasing it? Or writing?
Performing.
Oh, really?
So you've been writing for longer?
I've been like writing poetry, but not like structured songs, like not sitting down and saying like, okay, this is how I'm structuring a song. It's always just free flowing.
So good. You just started this year?
I've been singing my whole life,
Right.
but I've just started writing music like last
Good for you.
spring.
Wow, that's dope.
The
Wow,
lockdown started, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go crazy. Might as well just go through this shit right now.
Yeah.
Get
So
it all out.
what was the shift for you in your thinking from? Because it's one thing to listen and do covers and love music and be obsessed by it. It's one thing to
love
like
that.
put the pen to paper and actually create and craft your own living entity when you put it out eventually, right? What was the shift for you in thinking?
It was more of a belief in myself. I had it in there, but I didn't push it out. I wasn't patient with myself. I was a lot of negative self-talk. Like,
But you knew you were dope.
There
There was a part of you that knew you were
part
dope.
of me that would know it when I'm singing, and then
Yeah.
when I'm trying to create something, it was a lot of just unnecessary negativity,
Right.
Yeah.
that I needed to just get
Get
out
rid
of here.
of.
You don't
Yeah,
belong
that's
here right
dude.
now.
That's a
I
tough
checked
one,
out
man.
your Instagram, all right, like a couple of days ago. I'm watching it and looking through it, and there's two things that caught my eye on there. One, I thought you were lip syncing. No. That's the truth.
How dare you?
No, listen.
No,
It
I
was
wouldn't take that as
so good. I'm like, is this a Lauryn Hill song or something? I'm like, listening to that song on Instagram you got on your music thing there. I think it was the second one on their Black and Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, this girl's got some pipes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked. I thought it was a lip sync, so I'm trying to bust you. I'm like looking at it
Where
really
is
close.
this?
Well,
and
you know
I'm
what's-
like, it's this. It's your first one on your thing. I just thought it was amazing.
Oh, is it one of the stories? Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the stories.
Okay, yeah, because I just posted like singing, like sometimes I sneak out to my hallway. I'm like, oh, there's cool acoustics in here, and then I like belt something, and then someone will open the door. I'm like, it wasn't me.
So the before and after would show.
Well, you know
up
what's dope?
then.
This summer, the first time we met was at Trout Lake
Yeah.
this summer, and I got to see you perform live. And it's not just studio voice; she could sing.
Yeah, but she's singing live in these.
Yeah,
shots.
well, you were singing live that day too. You put it down, man.
That's
Love it.
unbelievable.
Thank you a
When-
lot. That means a lot.
Yeah,
So
for sure, man.
When you realize, or if somebody realizes they have a talent like this, you know what I mean? A talent that obviously you discovered on your own. You didn't, I don't know what your real story was, but I'm going to guess that one day you're singing and you're like, all of a sudden you just feel it. You just felt something come to you. And you're like, dude, I got to take this to the next level, right? Right? You feel that. But if someone feels that, what are the things that they have to do to start a career? Because you've started a career, even though it's
That's even just like serious. Like, oh my gosh, I
like,
have.
but this is a real process. This process of discovery and implementation of what you have to do is a big process, right? So, you know, what advice can you give people that are doing that? Because you're the perfect person to give advice. You're a late bloomer. You know what I mean? You had talent and you never really harvested it till some moment happened, right? And so what advice can you give people like that are in your situation?
Believe is like the biggest thing. If you really feel it and you believe, like that's where I feel like a late bloomer. I was very insecure. And I think that goes with like a lot of artists. They have this very, very high like critique of themselves. So I'm like, I've always thought like, oh, I'm not ready. Like keep practicing.
Yeah.
And like literally would pick myself apart. I would record something, listen to it. Oh, it's terrible. Do it again. Do it again. And like pound it in your head until it's perfect. Or do I sound exactly like that recording? But most of it was just the belief, and you're not going to learn anything until you put something out and get more feedback. And that's where I've been learning the most is like, just get out there and start performing, sing in front of people, get comfortable with your voice, and then ask for feedback. It's going to be shitty sometimes. Sometimes you're going to get people like, yeah, I don't really like it.
Oh, dude,
And with
it's not
singing,
like-
it's so vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
So vulnerable.
Well,
It
the thing is,
is.
like, acceptance is fleeting, right? Because I mean, people accept a lot of trash too, right? So
Yeah.
at some point, you have to determine for yourself, like, yeah, I'm really good at this. I could do this shit. Because a lot of people say they can do it, and they do it, but artists can hear and see and feel and understand that there's a lot of really bad shit out there. So when you yourself know you got some good shit in you to put out, the idea of having people accept it or like it or not like it, at some point, you're just gonna be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck
for
it.
sure.
I can't. I
I'm
can't.
still, I don't know, I'm kind of in the middle of that still. I'm constantly asking, like, what do you think of this? Like, I need your professional ear, like, please, don't lie to me. Don't lie to my face.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather you hurt my feelings right now than lie to my
Well, that's
face.
because you care.
Yeah.
right?
but-
Like people, because you care, right? And
Yeah, I think the best advice for someone who is it starting music or just like art in general, or
just
like
just like being an artist, because it's not easy being an artist.
Ooh,
sensitive is
Right?
painful, yo.
It's so
I'm an
It's
artist.
painful.
I'm sensitive about my shit.
well, it is, and it's tough. And it's funny you say that because it's very the problem with us being artists is the sensitivity and the toughness. It's about getting in between that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that as an artist, I think is the hardest part, is not to take it too personal and also be able, accept the criticism.
Dude, you can't take it personal. There's so many trolls out there, man.
Yeah,
Even if you're
that's
dope,
the
there's
new
always going to
way.
be some person out there that's trying to drag you lower
but
than
30
what you
years
feel,
ago,
right?
40 years ago, they had trolls as well.
Yeah, but they weren't so pervasive. Like now you can't escape it.
Now they can hide behind a screen now.
Yeah.
They couldn't hide behind a screen before. They'd be like, "You suck."
Yeah,
Throw it to me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now they're like, "You suck," and like all these detailed
Yeah.
things about you.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, I will never find this person. To
So then,
punch
as
them.
an
Yeah.
artist, would you suggest vacating social media as an artist?
no.
Oh, so there's that balance you have
Oh,
to
you
have.
have
Gotta
to
have
a
it.
balance for
So
sure.
how did you get tough?
I think it was sports. I think it was
You had
like
a sport mentality.
yeah. I grew up playing sports.
Mm.
I grew up raised by my dad and my sister as well.
What sport?
I grew up playing soccer. My dad's a professional soccer coach.
Oh, damn.
My sister, with that kind of mentality, and he was always so loving and supporting. But he would give me like tough love.
Yeah.
Like if someone says this to you, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna believe them? Kind of thing, or
Yeah.
like test me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have to have that, man.
you do. That's, I think, the X factor.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hate saying it, man. We create such a cushy environment for today's generations.
Start spanking your children.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't want my kids to struggle. I want them to have a easy, free, enjoyable.
It's like how much trauma are you gonna let them go through?
Yeah.
Toughen them up a
Yeah.
little bit.
I don't want any trauma, but I want challenge. You want to make sure kids are challenged, right? Because I mean, there's nothing good comes from trauma.
I didn't
Initially, you can
I
overcome it
didn't
and get better.
realize how important. When my dad used to pin me on the floor and sit on me,
And fart.
no, and just sit on me and lie on me, and I would struggle and push against him, like just fighting. I didn't realize the symbolism of that.
Yeah.
abuse. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, but
right?
at least that wasn't fun.
Yeah, it was in fun. But
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
realize about the never just taking it that our dads were trying to teach to us. Maybe they had some, pretty unconventional ways of teaching us to be tough.
Broken ways.
We all
Broken
did,
ways.
right? But they were products
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
50s.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
they're,
mean?
Yeah.
they're broken.
I
So
am blessed with my father. My goodness.
you had a good dad.
Oh my gosh, he's the best. He's my best friend.
That's dope.
Nice. What is
That's
the best thing you've learned from your dad in your life?
The one, I have to
Let's-
pick one thing.
Let's go to
Out of all the
commercial. We'll go to
gems-
commercial break right now. No, I'm just kidding. We don't
Out
have
of all the
commercial.
gems,
we have no
which is
commercial. We have no
impossible.
sponsor. What is the most important thing that you think that it applies to your life now, or is your career going forward as a musician and an artist?
Wow.
It's a deep question, eh?
It
That's what we
is.
do. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to think about that for a
Yeah,
second.
you're gonna have to give me.
And
a
I
second.
just want to show something to Arif here while you do that. Where's it? Oh, there it is. Just tell me when you're ready, when you have it. All right? Tell me. We're a very unconventional podcast here. Just a sec.
Oh, I know that dude.
The guy in the middle?
Yeah.
King Diamond Tet?
Never mind.
But no, he's got a few aliases. He goes by Unknown Misery. He goes by Babylon Warchild. His actual name is Surav.
He's a good
Yeah,
guest.
I know him.
He's another talented
Okay, I got
guy.
it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Nice.
This applies to music, but it applies to everything in my life too.
That's important.
So I remember him saying, this doesn't sound like maybe it doesn't sound like a huge thing, but he said, "Would you rather be amazing at one thing or really good at a lot of
Oh,
things?"
interesting. Yeah.
And I was like, and that's where
That's
this whole
tough.
pressure, the societal pressure to have one career,
Yeah.
really messed with me. I
Yeah.
was like, could never see myself doing one thing.
Yeah.
And it applied to a lot of things in my life. Would you rather be amazing at one thing or very good
That's
at
dope.
a lot of different things?
Yeah.
Which makes me constantly like, I want to be over here. I want to learn about this. How do I apply all of this to my life and represent myself
Yeah.
with my music?
Yeah. So what's your answer?
That
To be continued after this commercial. Wait, we don't have commercials. I just said that.
that was it. That's one of the lessons that's definitely helped.
No, but
me.
what is your answer to that question? Like, what did you choose? One or all?
Great
All
at
of
one?
them.
Yeah.
All
it's
of
the
them.
it's the only
I've-
answer.
I've since he said that, I'm like, what more? What can I do? I want to do all the things.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to just do one.
We got one
thing.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was music ever like the dream for you growing up?
Oh, for sure. When I was like 5, I like wanted to be Mariah Carey.
So you've always
I was
been
like,
singing.
I'm Mariah Carey.
So she,
Seriously,
I
she was
had
the one.
that in my life at one point too. Trust
Whatever
me.
I could use as a microphone,
Yeah.
like all the time, just belting it, and he would never tell me to shut up.
That's
3 in the
fantastic.
morning, go, and usually it'd be like, okay, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You need to sleep because you have to go to school. I love you. You're the best singer in the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
So the
supportive.
first time you heard Mariah hit that, that one, how did you feel when the first time you heard her hit that?
I felt it in my chest.
Wasn't that
Ooh.
great? I still remember.
Oh my
that
God.
like, when I heard her,
Yeah.
that high, how it goes higher,
Yeah. It's
Glass
emotional.
breaking.
I shit my pants. I'm like, that is not human. Is that a computer or
Yeah.
something? There was no computers back then, right? So it was like, was that a
Was that a
squeaky
She's
toy?
special, man. Mariah's special. She's
Yeah,
got that thing.
So crazy.
Yeah.
That's why she's lasted this much.
Yeah, she's kind of been through some weird things over the past little while with her
What's
career,
the
but
number one Mariah song? Favorite Mariah Carey song?
That's another hard question.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
This
ask
is
me
what
my
we
favorite
do.
food is. I'm like, you know what?
This is what we do
I'm
on High
leaving. Don't
Praise.
ask me what my favorite food is. Let's just do. Right now, it's probably Someday.
Oh, that's a good singing song.
okay, wait, what song is?
Someday. That's a slower kind of ballad.
Someday, yeah.
Oh, that one.
Someday.
Oh yeah,
It's,
okay,
like,
that's a
super-
gem. That's
yeah,
a gem.
It's like for like second album.
Yeah,
song.
going back.
I like the old school Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so do I. I like the Hero Comes Along song. What's that one?
hero.
Is that what that is?
So cheesy.
I like that song.
It was like every graduation song every year from the time
That's
I got to
true.
grade 8 to grade 12. That's,
That's
the
so
song that.
true.
Oh, jeez.
And then a hero comes along.
Yes.
Dude, when she sang that, she's like, I'm owning every motherfucker in this.
Ooh, she put it
audience right now."
down.
Well, that's the
It's
thing. She
brutal.
could sing anything, and you're like,
So are you a Whitney fan too?
of course.
So which one, Whitney or Mariah?
Very different.
In a fight.
That's like asking what my favorite food is again.
You know, you
In
get
a
some.
fight for Bobby.
You know, it's like that MJ and Prince thing, Whitney and Mariah. There's always kind of like a
Prince for me.
Prince for me.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Which brings me to our first installment of It Happened This Today. We're gonna do this. This is a new thing through the thing, and we're gonna ask you about special dates in a second. But this happened today,
Kobe.
in 1980.
Oh, you.
No, I'm gonna
Kobe's
show
still
you-
up there, right?
I'm gonna show you this happened today in 1984.
84.
That's the year my sister was born.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
1984. Today, Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire
Oh,
while filming
no,
the
right.
Billie Jean.
The Pepsi commercial, yeah.
Remember that?
I do remember that, the fireworks and Jerry Curl
This is
and
the day Michael Jackson sold out to big corporation for the first time. He changed his lyrics to Billie Jean. Got a lot of slack for it. But it
But it
kinda
doesn't
went
matter.
away.
It's genius. It's a power play, man.
Yeah.
It's a power play.
Pepsi.
All right, that was on today.
Yeah, that was
That was today in 1984.
1984.
God damn.
Yeah, Pepsi Cola commercial.
Not a good
Los
moment for
Angeles,
MJ.
Special effects went wrong. Serious burns to his head. Caught his head on fire. Michael Jackson.
That started the painkillers.
Yeah, that started the
It
pain.
did, and the downward spiral of his health.
It's horrible.
Yeah, very sad.
So for you, my dear,
Kobe.
what were you doing in 1984? No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't.
I don't.
She
think
was
you
in
were
the
here.
stars.
She wasn't even here.
Stars,
In the
yeah, that's
stars.
manifested.
Damn. Do you
That was
remember?
the year my sister was born, though.
Oh, it was.
Yep.
Oh, okay. What is she a singer or anything? Mm-hmm. Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
She hasn't been active in a long time, but she did do a lot of performing in Vancouver as well. She performed
nice.
at Calabash a lot.
That's dope.
Nice.
Love that place.
Yeah, with R&B like reggae band.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Calabash. Yeah, I've heard of that. I've never been.
yeah. Calabash is amazing.
Yeah.
No,
So-
we come from musicians, so both my parents are musicians.
Oh, they are.
nice.
What
Nice.
did
They
they
met
played?
digging in Winnipeg.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
They played instruments.
Yep. My mom played the guitar and the keyboard and sang, and my dad played literally almost every instrument.
Oh, he's
And
one of those
sings,
guys.
Yeah.
What kind of music?
Man.
What kind of music?
Funk.
Oh,
Mostly.
nice.
Yeah, but he's
My dad's a
70s.
funk man for
He's
sure.
70s,
I'm a
right?
funk baby.
Yeah.
Funk R&B for
Yeah.
sure.
So this summer we got to do a little show at Trout Lake, which is fantastic. And you're obviously rooted in some activism in your music and your delivery and the way you speak. Where does this come from? Where does the activist side of you come from?
That again sparked last year as well. But my dad and his side of the family have been active. I come from generations of activists. They moved here during the apartheid movement in South Africa.
Wow.
My dad's older brother was very politically active and was poisoned
Damn.
in 76, I believe, and that's when they had to come over and
It's a terrifying place.
come to Canada and then come back and continue the fight.
Mhm.
Both my grandparents were writers, teachers. So yeah, I think it's just kind of in me. It
In your
feels
DNA.
right. It also just feels like me. So even just the word activist, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing what's right.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So you say you started last year, like actually you being active started last year,
Yeah.
getting involved.
Yeah, getting involved, making a lot of connections and relations with Indigenous communities here.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I've been thinking about for years. And like, I don't really have any Indigenous friends, and that feels really weird.
Yeah.
And it feels wrong. And I've gained a lot of friends over the last year that have taught me and continue to teach me so much about where I'm on, the land I'm living on.
Yeah.
So, and that's really important. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
One of the most important things people in British Columbia especially need to know.
British Columbia.
Yeah.
We take that for
Yes.
granted so much. We have just allowed we have an issue with royal family here, obviously,
Royals.
but we've allowed that to seep into our main vernacular in life, and we just accept that these British things in our life, and we don't realize the atrocities that have happened because of the Queen.
Well, I think the biggest problem is like, we have a lot of educated youth, but we don't have a lot of
So brutal.
educated youth that are educated about the infrastructure and why it's structured this way.
Yeah.
If you don't know why things are structured a certain way, as far as the economy, as far as the school system, as far as the banking system, all of this.
But there's no black people in BC. They made it that way.
Yeah, and you can't change what you don't know, right?
They made it that way.
And so much of the youth are just not in the know as far as what's happening. So, how do you try and reach people, whether they're in your age group or younger, or because it kind of starts with the younger?
Yeah, with my generation or like people that I know, I think it's just literally having conversations about it. Like having conversations like out of nowhere. Like, hey, how do you feel about this? Like, do you know the people that lived here before? Like, if you have any information, if you want to know, there's lots of resources now. There's lots of people you can talk to. They're still here.
Yeah.
And
do you find, are you ever surprised by pushback from people when you bring up these conversations and they don't necessarily see things the way you see them?
Not really, because they don't really have a lot of people that push back in my circle, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that makes sense.
Associate with those people.
Yeah.
I think I should more.
No dissenters in your
Well, I mean,
circle,
you connect with like minds, obviously.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
So
I mean, there are like conversations where it's difficult, but most of the time I get the vibe that they don't know, and it's kind of it's more of like an embarrassing kind of vibe.
Right.
It's like, okay, I don't
Yeah.
come across like abrasive, like, you don't know this, you're stupid. But like, I'd like to have a conversation about it. I'm like, what do you know? Let's share what we know. Let's learn.
I think a lot of it too, is like over knowledge. Like people get too much information, right? And then it kind of, the truth gets kind of floats away.
I mean, I think information is one thing, and I think like doing something with the information is another thing, right?
Yeah.
You could know all the stuff you want to know, but if you're not doing anything with it, what's the point of knowing it?
Yeah.
But I mean, so are you a reader? You take time to kind of dig into these things?
I wouldn't say read, but I listen to a lot of like podcasts, like Indigenous podcasts, or I just do my own research for fun on like the land I'm on, the languages, the plants that grow here, the Indigenous medicines that's used in ceremony. That's all part of like my passion as well.
Yeah, and I see these the dope ARC shirts that you wear. And what's your association with the anti-racism coalition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me, my family, like-minded individuals, it was founded June 16th last year.
Oh wow, okay.
And that was during the Black Lives Matter movement when that started. I remember being at the protest at the Olympic Cauldron.
Yeah, wow.
And it was just a lot of, I felt like it was very mixed, like the messages and where the protest was going, that we were like, don't feel good about this. Like, what do we do? And yeah, I was just reaching out online to some people and seeing like the same kind of feelings towards them, and like, what can we do? Like, what do we want to see out of it? Like, we want to see Black Canadian history mandatory in schools. And that's like where Black Shirt Day came from, was from ARC. So yeah, I'm super like proud of the coalition and like the work that we've done in such a short period of time. We're not even a year old.
It's amazing.
So
Amazing.
yeah, and Black Shirt Day was a huge success, but it was like just the beginning of what we just kind of like realized what we can do.
Yeah,
That's what that was. Like, oh shit, we can actually do this, like make that huge change. With the power of social media, word of mouth, and you know, with all the support. Just the beginning. So next year we're still pushing and speaking to like head of education.
Yes.
And, you know, like pushing for that. And that's just part of like the initiatives. We still have other organizations we want to work with, Indigenous organizations. That's mostly like my role with ARC is like social and outreach is to like use my connections. And I love people. I love making friends. I love, you know, listening to all aspects of life. So just using what I know best in my skill set to like link people where they need to go and support people in their events. Like the last one we had at Voices of the Oppressed on Sunday, the Punjabi movement.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to make a presence there and just like show our support. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
If there's like-minded people, individuals, or organizations that are against racism, like how do we support you? How do we help?
Yeah, because I mean, it's tough because sometimes, like you were mentioning earlier about the mixed messages in the protest, like leaderless movements can be very dangerous, right? Without a direction and a focus. How do you adjust to those things? Because you're now in this organizing space, and it's one of the hardest things to do. Whether you get 10 people on board, 50 people on board, or hundreds of people on board. So how do you avoid that idea of these mixed messages coming into the...
You have to have thick skin for sure.
Yes.
Like I've seen people definitely try to change your agenda and bully you into, you know, their own agenda, which is you have to like be respectful, of course, and hear them out. Like you can't just be a person that's like, I'm not going to hear anything.
Yeah,
you
of
say.
course.
That's totally wrong. Yeah. You hear the person out and say, listen, like this is where I resonate. This might not be for you, but we still want to support you, but we can't have you changing what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is unite everyone, not make it specific. This is anti-racism coalition.
Period.
It's not, period. It's not specific. It's like we're all doing this together.
Yeah.
That's why I was really proud of the organization with on Sunday. That was her goal. It was like, I want to bring all the communities together to stand in solidarity. I was like, oh my goodness,
amazing.
who is this girl?
Wow.
She's amazing. Yeah.
So cool.
And took it upon herself because she had a terrible experience at a previous protest where she was just stripped of the mic because she was a woman.
Right. This I've seen. Yeah, it gets
So what, there's a
very
video of
frustrating. I mean, there
seen
were
it?
plenty of people
So
there
they
watching.
took the mic because she was a woman.
It
Okay.
was awkward. You're talking about the one that I was at the Jack Layton.
I'm not sure. I was just having a personal conversation with her on the phone.
Oh, okay,
She had
okay.
told me like this is what happened to me, and I was just like, it lit a fire into my ass.
That's crazy.
And made me want to do this, and now it's made me want to organize my own thing. And then all these things align. Like I got all these connections, and it just turned out exactly how I wanted. And
Powerful.
yeah, your ancestors are like watching over you and guiding you to where you need to go. If you have the intention of bringing everyone together, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there certain activists that have inspired you throughout your life that you look at for inspiration?
My father.
Dad.
Big ups.
Good job, Dad.
Big
You're
ups.
a good kid.
That's a big one.
Yeah, he's dedicated his life. Like
So cool.
he's been a part of so many different organizations, like, and coming from that family. So as soon as they moved here, when he was in Winnipeg, when he was in school, he was a part of so many different organizations, always trying to connect with communities. So I think that's where I get, like, of course, the love for people. And culture is just, like, it's one of my favorite things. I love everyone's culture. I love, like, language. I love the food. I love the music. I love the regalia. I love
That's dope.
everything. I just want everyone to, like, do their thing. It's amazing.
But if you pick a favorite culture besides your own, which one would you choose? Like culture-wise.
I can't decide my own because I got two.
So what is your mixed race?
My dad's South African and my mom's Filipina, but
wow.
my dad's
Oh, wow.
also mixed, and my mom's like Filipinos are mixed.
Yeah, they're always mixed.
So
Yeah,
I can't.
Wow.
that's a
choose.
beautiful combo, man.
So do you speak
I'm super proud.
do you
of it.
speak Tagalog as well?
No, I'm learning a little bit now.
Yeah.
But and also Spanish has definitely helped with
Right.
the language. But
Yeah, of course. course.
definitely help. But yeah, I can't choose like which culture is my favorite.
What if you
Yeah.
had to choose by food?
I already told you this question. Tell me.
Food one is not good.
I'm like,
Indian.
that's like asking me what question.
Indian food for me, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Indian food, man.
Yo, it's
The
tough though. Like,
best.
because our parents come from countries that were subjugated to colonialism as well, and by the time they get here, they don't really know their culture, and then they're completely immersed in Western culture, and then they have kids that are Canadian, and they're trying to give you pieces of the culture that they remember when you're absorbed in this Western culture. A lot of culture gets lost.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Especially like my generation, we have to like proactively dig and find and look and search.
That must be
to-
so tough to like.
And the thing is, I didn't really realize the importance of it until like I got a little older. I was like, yo, I gotta teach my kids these things. They gotta know where they come from, what their history is, what their ancestors were and
what's
are,
the
right?
lineage again?
Well, my parents are from Fiji, and they originally would have been taken from India to be indentured laborers in Fiji. So we're Indian, and my kids are second generation Canadians, and it's so tough when they're completely absorbed in one culture to kind of make sure that we keep giving them our pieces of our culture, right? But you have to do it, otherwise they completely don't know where they come from. That breaks generations, man.
It's a huge thing. Food is a connection to your land. Like,
Yeah,
where
oh,
you
big
come
time.
from, so
Yeah.
it's part of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't choose. I'm still not gonna answer the question.
You don't have to. You don't have to answer anything. Yeah.
But now that we talked about food, I know you're big into how do we even what do you call the science of mushrooms?
Well, mushrooms aren't
Mycology,
food.
but the mycology is like mushrooms in general. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about like psychedelic mushrooms, that would be like ethnobotany, like
Right.
study of like entheogens, so like mind altering plants. So that's another like
Like these ones?
community-
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, keep going. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's another community of people that I've been like connected with within the last 4 years, attending the spirit plant medicine conferences at UBC.
Yeah, I saw that. You went to that. Did that happen this year in October?
Yeah, it did
still went on?
online.
It went online.
It was funny. I was 4 years ago attending the conferences, listening to the speakers, looking at the stage, going, maybe one day I'll get to speak about mushrooms.
Let's use this way.
But then this year I'm performing with my dad. I end up singing. I'm performing a couple songs at the plant medicine conference, which is amazing as well. It's just another show that, like, if it's not one pot, it's another pot. It's some sort of contribution. It's beautiful to me. Whatever people need from me, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I heard you playing some like really low key kind of like psychedelic music, like Jimi Hendrix style on your guitar.
At that performance?
It's on your thing. Yeah. It's on your thing. Way back. No, it's on your Instagram. I saw you playing. You're just sitting there, just kind of like playing this really chill, mellow music.
Yeah, that
It's like
sounds like...
Jimi Hendrix style, like
Jimi Hendrix.
yeah, dude. I'm just like, dude, I want to go
Jimmy's
do mushrooms
God,
listening to this. It was so relaxing and in like a trance. You know, you dealing with psilocybin, how much does music influence? To tell people if they've never done mushrooms, how music influences you while you take psilocybin.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've had a lot of exploration with, like, by myself. And that's another thing I could, like, link that with traveling. Like, the need for traveling is, like, psychedelics. Like, it's, like, this unknown place where I get to and learn about myself and about my emotions, how to release properly, how you call other spirits in with me.
Yeah.
You know? And with, like, the vibe of the music, it's just, I guess, an expression of, like, how I feel.
Yeah. Because when I was going through crazy times, I used mushrooms to get myself out of these crazy times. And I did the hero's dose and listened to some music kind of similar to what you were playing. It was very lo-fi, this very chill music and all just instrumental.
Hold on one sec. Shout out to Cam, right?
Yeah, shout out to
Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Danger Dave, Fung Fu for the greens.
And
Proceed.
thank you guys. And the mushrooms, the music was the reason my brain changed. I truly believe it. You know, I did like 8 grams at once, and I locked myself in a black room,
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And
That sounds like terrifying to some people. I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing.
everyone I tell them, they're like,
You know what that is? That's emotional rearrangement.
Yeah, I needed it. I needed it. I was so struggling with abandonment issues my entire life. And I was like to the point where I was just a total dick and I was not being a good person and I was making bad choices for my life and I needed a change. And I found out about the mushrooms. So I did the 8 grams, locked myself in a room.
So instead of like, I'm alone, you're like, I'm alone.
Yeah. And it is so cool you say that because that's what I came out of it. This was about 2 years ago. And I came out of it with like, dude, I'm an introvert. I'm trying to make myself an extrovert, but I'm a true introverted person. And that struggle between trying to, express myself and be right out there and just be myself was that issue that
I don't see you as an introvert at all.
100%.
Well, my experience with you is not of an introvert.
Well, he could be an extroverted introvert.
Right. Because with me, he's all out all the time.
Yeah.
But you said something interesting when you talk about the psychedelics and writing and stuff and about bringing spirits in. You write a lot?
I do, not as of like the last couple months, but last year was a lot of writing.
You try to make it a habit kind of thing. So when you're writing, are you feeling like it's just you on the page? Are you feeling like something's coming through on the page? How do you feel your creative process
Well, I have
comes through?
had experiences like the EP that I wrote and most of the songs that are going to be released are, I've written them like either microdosing with psilocybin or with DMT.
Amazing.
So that's definitely a brain expander. It's a heart opener.
Enhances your thinking, eh?
Yeah, and it makes you, very susceptible and like open to whatever else is around you. And that can be really tricky. It can be like a little scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, just learning to navigate that is definitely a skill that.
Did you have someone kind of guide you through the process? Is this all self-discovery for you, or?
Did someone guide me through the process?
When you microdose and you kind of.
For the mushrooms, like your first time.
Yeah, you kind of start to navigate.
Getting involved with it.
Yeah, my first.
Don't
time,
say your dad, because I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back.
My first time, I did. It was like almost like 9 years ago or something like that, and. Yeah, it was a macrodose. I locked myself in my room, had pieces of paper all over the floor and listening to music, trying to play guitar. It wasn't really working very well. And then I noticed like after it was very like all over the place in the beginning, but then the following day, the integration part, like how do I feel? I felt really grounded. I felt like I learned a lot about myself. I felt very connected with my mother's side that day. Like I felt a lot of the culture, like I'm not sure how to explain it even. But I drew this tattoo, and it's like a goddess with the Filipino sun behind her, and it's like a sea goddess. So that's like some of the influences that I had felt. Like I can't really explain.
Before this, did you have a strong relationship with your mom?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
But did you feel like there was some distance or something and that maybe the mushrooms connected it?
For sure. I do. Yeah, I definitely feel like it has a lot of...
tapped out.
What did you say?
It's all good. We keep you in the zone.
I did not.
Because it seems like
She's good.
Because it seems like that's what the psilocybin does. And anybody that I work with psilocybin is like there's always this missing piece in your life and it's something that you're going through, and it's almost like you don't have this connection to your solution from your problem. And it seemed like the mushrooms were the ones that did it. And then anything that was like I had one lady I worked with who had never kissed a boy, and she was 35, and she had a real traumatizing experience as a child, and she needed that strength to go and talk to a boy to be able to get to that ability to kiss a boy. And when she did the mushrooms, the hero dose, whatever happened, she came out of it and she was able to talk to the person.
What's a hero dose?
It was like the 8 grams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did 6 grams, right? And
I think it's anything over 5.
Yeah.
Damn.
She was like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. But and she stuck her in a room by herself and monitor her and whatever. And dude, it's just like it grabs that missing piece that you're missing in your DNA or something.
Well, my only psilocybin experience was a really silly, goofy one. It was just me and Danger Dave, and we just laughed at stupid shit for like an hour and a half. Just
You're lucky. Some people have traumatizing experiences.
yeah, and I've been told that. So when the first time it was really fun, I was like, oh, this is dope. But I've never really had that meaningful
But your
connection
set and
to
your
it.
setting was good. You're with someone you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Setting you're okay with.
Yeah.
That's cool. I have a lot of people I know that just,
Bad
take a
trips.
handful at a club. What?
That's
Who
a
was the
terrible
person
idea.
that gave you that?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to have a talk with them. Because
So
that's-
so what does it? What does the psilocybin do to help people get through trauma and get grounded? Because I've been seeing it a lot in a lot of medical studies of them using psilocybin to overcome brain injuries and things like that. So what is it?
I think,
What's in the plant that does it?
It's definitely helped with a lot of the courses that I've taken too. But it was a lot of these experiences and then, a lot of these experiences and then not knowing how to put them into words. And then all these studies are coming up. I'm like, yeah, that's what happened. But it's connecting the parts of your brain that don't usually communicate. So it opens up your pathways, the receptors that don't usually communicate. And therefore, you're instead of having this tunnel vision or whatever wiring that your brain has been taught, you're shifted. You're shifted out of it. So you have new perspectives on like your situations, your relationships, how you deal with things. It definitely helps people get out of tunnel vision. And that's how I think it helps with depression. Like in depression, you're literally, I feel like in a hole, like you can't see from the outside. And then you kind of get this like kick in the ass or like, readjusting of like your pathways and you're kind of shifted and reset. That's a lot of what people say, like the description. I feel like a reset button has been put on me and I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned DMT as well. This is something I've always wanted to kind of experience, but never have come into contact with somebody that really knows what they're doing. So
And that chemical molecule is very similar as well, with dimethyltryptamine and psilocybin. And like it's crazy how similar the chemical compound is.
Oh, really?
Which makes sense. I've actually gotten to experiences where like experiencing both, they'll kind of cross paths with each other now. Like when I'm at this certain state, I'm like, oh, this feels like this, and it resembles very much so. And I feel like my body is used to the medicine now, and with like practice and with integration and with like therapy, you kind of learn how to navigate being in those states and like feeling your emotions and how you process your situations.
So you really understand the feeling then. You really understand what's supposed to happen, what's supposed to come from it, what you're supposed to get out of it. You really have seems like you have a really deep understanding of it as far as how it affects you.
Yes. I can't say for everyone's different in their experiences, but I feel like I have a good understanding of myself with emotions, and definitely it's like a never-ending process and journey of like healing. Of course, like you're never done healing.
Oh, for sure.
But understanding myself, I feel a lot of like personal emotional growth and how to handle situations. I feel a lot more confident in myself because of using like traditional indigenous entheogens, plant medicines that tribes have used for thousands of years in ceremony. And that's how you have to use them. You have to take them as medicine and respect them and make relationships with them. And that's where they'll help you grow as a human with all your relations. I feel like that's what being human is like not just relating to the people around you, but with like plants, with every kind of living, anything with a spirit is where you gain the most knowledge.
Yeah, my Nietzsche Chi-Chi, if you're ever watching, she picks a ton of herbs for me. And for reliefs for anxiety and for panic and stuff like that. And man, she just goes on picking, like
Foraging, that's awesome.
Foraging, right? Like and goes out in the middle of nowhere. Like she'll be like, oh, let's go over to this. It's just over here. And to a medicine woman, just over here is like up and down and foraging over through a river. You know what I mean? They're just like, dude, where are you taking me? She's like, am I getting whacked?
We're almost there.
Like, is there something happening? And she always laughs, right? She's just awesome. But she gives me these herbs. I eat this tea and it works.
Who's Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi, she's a medicine woman in Hope.
I would love to speak
She
with
is
Chi-Chi.
she is the most amazing woman. She runs an art store in Hope. It's one of the only
She's already my best friend.
indigenous art stores. You go there and say you know me and go there and just she is the most amazing person.
Okay, I want numbers.
Yeah, I will
Yes.
help you. I'll help you.
So you've done some you've done some foraging as well.
Yeah, that's just like recently started. I mean, like, I don't know, here and like traveling, I've always been fascinated with plants, but starting to learn within the last few years how to build relationships with them, how to use them into medicine.
So explain to, because I'm a city kid, totally not my experiences. Explain to what would be what's the process? How does this happen? Do you just pick
what happens?
like when you
foraging?
do you just pick a place and just go and explore? Or do you have an idea of what you're looking for when you start? Or
sometimes I have a goal. Sometimes I'll like be doing like research on plants. I'm like, and see where it grows, and then where the location is, like where it likes to grow on the earth, kind of thing, or in your terrain, and then either start from there, or sometimes I'll just we'll just go into the woods and look and pick this up and take it home.
That's
and then take a picture
is.
of it, like study it or like research it.
Yeah.
Could go either way. But yeah, the last experience I had was amazing. I came across this plant called Devil's Club.
Damn.
And it's a really...
I take it.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, she's going to tell you.
Yes, let's do Devil's
It's a
Club.
very powerful plant that's been used by Coast Salish people for thousands of years.
Wow.
In many different ways. A lot of spiritual potency around it is what they use it for as well. They use all parts of it and hang it up around their doors to protect them.
Is it hallucinogenic?
In high doses, yes.
Damn.
I take low doses.
Yeah, in high doses, yeah. I believe so. That's what one video and readings that I've done. If you take it in high doses, it can be hallucinogenic, but a lot of plants can be. But yeah, I had a research and had a goal to find this. I took an indigenous land harvesting course. And they said the good way to go about this is, you call the nation and you ask permission if you go there. I'm coming here in a good way. I was wondering if you could show me how to use this medicine properly. This is my intention. Make a relation is pretty much what you're doing. I emailed this woman, and it's funny because I can't get a hold of her now for the life of me. And all of a sudden it just lined up. But I called her and she's like, oh, okay. Are you indigenous? And I was like, no. But I was thinking, no, not from indigenous from this land. I'm indigenous to my Filipino and South African side. But she said, meet me at the totem pole. I was like, what? This is amazing. Meet me at the totem pole.
And is this the only totem pole?
No, we drove to Squamish. So it's the Squamish
gotcha.
Nation. So I'm like, hi, I'm calling Squamish Nation.
The big
I'm
one.
trying to be here in a good way. I'm looking for this medicine. This is my intention. How do I use this? Do I have permission to come on your lands and do this? Yeah, sure. So she'll show me. So she took me out with her husband, and they showed me where to find it. She showed me how to take it in a respectful way, show reciprocity, how to prep it, what her favorite ways to use it is. It was one of the best days of my life.
Yeah.
I just got a teaching, an indigenous teaching that just kind of lined up for me because I just did it. I just executed when I knew it a good way. So
that's so cool. That's the way you got to do it. You know what? Screw school. Go meet and talk to people.
That is school, though.
That is school. Screw this going to school and shit.
That's a curriculum. That's a regimented curriculum.
Yeah,
it's
but going
different.
and meeting people and learning things like this at the grassroots, right there from the people who live it. That's the way that we need to teach people to live.
I was super lucky that happened and it just all lined up, but. Yeah.
This
it's super
so
powerful.
Cool.
I've been having, after I've started to use it, build a relationship with it, I've had 3 dreams where it's become very present in my dreams.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's another thing that's proves to me that spirits are real because they translate. Whether you have a relationship with them, whether you ingest them or use them around you, they'll be present with you all the time.
Yeah.
And there's such a stigma about using psilocybin and microdosing, and society, everyone thinks you're just getting stoned. How do you explain the difference between a mushroom trip and someone just microdosing just to be even?
Well, that's a different approach too. I think we're in a psychedelic movement and renaissance, if people
absolutely
want to call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of stigma around it because it was considered a drug for the longest time, is classified the same as other narcotics.
Like heroin.
Schedule 2.
And that's what people know, and that's how their brains are wired, but people are starting to rewire their brains with psilocybin. Rewire it.
That's so true.
the way you approach it is very different with like macrodosing. It has this very big effects, and that's where I started. And then I slowly, just naturally, actually started microdosing by myself before even knowing what the like term was. It was kind of weird. I was like, I wonder if this is beneficial, but I don't want to do that all the time. I don't feel like it's necessary, and that doesn't work after a while. Your tolerance just gets higher and it stops. So
and it takes up like a day.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of emotional work. It's a lot of mental work. And you need support after it. It's huge. It's a big transition. But when you like come at it with an approach of microdosing as like a supplement and using it in a different way, it's still a medicine. And that's, I don't know, my transition was really natural. And I noticed like that was my question. How do I use this in smaller doses, shorter periods of time? And how is it going to benefit me? And it did, like a lot. I couldn't really explain it. And also, like the years that was happening, there wasn't a lot of places I could go to speak about it. Like there wasn't a lot of support groups like there are now. But it's amazing the experiences people have and the benefits, and like, I feel.
So are you like, would you say like every situation it could be beneficial to someone's personality and mental health? Is there situations where people should just not go near it?
I think with people who have like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder,
extreme anxieties or panic.
Yeah, for
problems.
sure.
Sorry,
that's a place where it needs to be taken with extra caution. But it is the safest thing to use. It's the safest substance to use for humans.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Safer than Mary Jane over there.
See, my situation, I have extreme panic attack. I live in a life of panic. Right, and every day. And
he's not lying.
I'm not lying. Every day I have panic attacks. And what's crazy is because I took the started microdosing 0.24 every day, 3 days on, 2 days off sometimes. And what it did is it cured my issues that I felt with myself. It cured the issues that I was dealing with. But it made my panic go through the roof. So I had to balance on a daily basis. You know, the days that I was, you know, in the midst of it, you know, I mean, using the psilocybin, you know, I was going through some hardcore panicky days. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
But I was also dealing with this other stuff, man. So it was kind of a sacrifice I made, right?
Well, you're still functional throughout your day.
Did you lower your dose?
Yeah, I had to stop. And so now
you didn't lower it though before.
I did.
Okay.
I went down to 0.1, like 1.8 or so, 1.18 or something, and then I went down. And I still situational microdose. If that makes any sense, it's not really a thing to do. Maybe it is. I don't know. You would probably know better than I do. I just thought I invented it.
I've done that sometimes. For sure. Don't do it for like a month, or just do it like once a week.
If I get into a point where I'm because there's a difference between panic and anxious. And if I get to a point where I'm kind of feeling anxious, or I'm like feeling sad about myself, or I'm feeling depressed at all, I microdose for a couple days, 3 days. Right? And I just get it. And then I actually feel better. You have these moments where you're like kind of clear, you know, you're just going and you're just clear kind of.
And the thing is, I never see any anxious side of you or any like nervous. Every side I get of you is always like high energy, go Mike all the time. It's very different.
Yeah, because that's,
you know how to put it on.
Well, that's generally how I am.
Yeah.
Generally how I am. But when I'm alone, then there's like the other side of me.
Yeah.
Right? Because now I'm because my issues I was always dealing with were abandonment issues in life. So, but the mushrooms helped me understand that I'm okay. Like my relationships I get into, no one's going to leave me. He's not going to leave me and say, I'm not going to be your friend. And storm out. I was always so stressed out about that. I wouldn't make relationships. And the mushrooms helped me understand that, dude, like, it's okay. You know, you can have friends that are here. You can have friends that are right here. You can have friends at all levels, right? You don't have to worry, you know, about them leaving you, because you can put them in the position. Basically, I can put the person in the position where if they leave me, it's okay. It's not a big deal, right?
That's really difficult to work through, but it gives you that perspective that that's what's going on. I mean, I feel like it, like, definitely, I feel like that's kind of like a tunnel vision. It helps you get out of the tunnel vision of how you're feeling about your life and your situation, your relationships. your perception of them, and it helps you say like, this is a perspective, different perspective. Helps you kind of grow out of it.
Yeah.
So for someone that's new to this world and wants to kind of see what works for them, how do you suggest they take those first steps towards learning about using psilocybin in a way that's beneficial for them?
Definitely the microdose for sure. Like 0.05, like start there.
Yeah.
And if you have any, I usually get like questions like, oh, if I have like a little bit of anxiousness around this and like I don't want to get like high or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I start really low and eat like some food with it and do what you usually do. And I've had people say like, oh, I've like literally forgot that I took it. Yeah. So there you go. Your anxiety with that's out the window. But yeah, I definitely think like be gentle because we're sensitive. Human beings we can take a lot. We're strong, but we're so sensitive. So I say like start small. Don't take 5 grams at a club.
Yeah, don't.
Oh, when someone told me that, I was horrified. I was like,
What is the most horrific mushroom story you've heard?
Oh, jeez.
Like where you look at someone and go, what are you thinking?
that was probably that was one of them.
That's horrible.
Well, I know a guy who took 15 grams in one
Oh my
shot.
God.
And and that was probably not a good idea.
Was he trying to like go through a
He
wormhole or
had
something?
Extreme. We found out that later on he has concussion issues from sports, but he thought there was something really wrong, and so he wanted to go big, and he did 15 grams.
Wow.
What was his experiences before?
Extreme abandonment issues, extreme
Well, I meant like with
concussion.
psychedelics.
Oh, with psychedelics, like he was like Mr. In the club snorting lions, you know what I mean? Like his whole life. You know what I mean? Like he was one of those guys and he was just a mess, right?
Yeah.
And a sweetheart of a guy. He was just lost behind this facade that he created over this years of abuse, right? And he did 15 grams.
That's the thing about medicine, though. If you're gonna get cocky with it, it'll kick your ass.
Oh, I've seen this.
It'll put you in your place for sure.
So what are the laws surrounding psilocybin and microdosing right now as far as...
it's decriminalized.
Okay.
So it's kind of in the same area where cannabis was a while ago.
Gray market for the most part.
Yeah, and that's like... There's some parts of it that can be like worrying, but there's a lot of like good research going into it now. I have some friends in California who are part of the San Francisco Psychedelic Society, and they're running a microdosing course.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did like a brief course on psilocybin for psychotherapy. That was really interesting. There was a lot of like learning how the brain works on pharmaceuticals, the differences in the systems, like how pharmaceuticals work versus psilocybin, how it's safe, and like all the best research so far, and like how to further this medicine in like a good way. So
do you think it'll be like legal in London? Drugs will go there, pick up psilocybin?
probably. And I mean, an
Wow.
extracted, like, government controlled way.
Obviously, right.
And that's not necessarily the best thing.
It's a broken way.
Yeah.
We've seen it with cannabis.
And
It's
that's
a
the thing, like,
Yeah,
terrible.
I agree.
Once there's like a bottle on the counter with like psilocin, like in a bottle, like you're removing all the aspects of the medicine as well that contribute to the healing.
So true, right? The true experience too that comes with it.
Yeah, for sure.
It isn't just the drug; it's the experience.
Yeah, it's not just the extraction, the scientific chemistry, how it works in your body. It's the relationship that you have with the medicine, right?
So true. Such an important thing she just said.
So are there
That's where you get into addiction with a relationship.
Yeah.
thing.
Like any bad relationship,
Yeah.
though.
It's not the
kinda
actual
crazy.
thing. It's the relationship
Yeah.
that you have with the thing. Because substances aren't addictive. That's just another story, another whole topic.
It definitely
Things
is.
aren't addictive. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
well, I was gonna go somewhere else, but yeah, speak on that.
When
Speak on what?
That things that-
substances,
substances
not being
are addictive.
addictive.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of Gabor Mate and his research on addictions and trauma. So it clicked. It made sense to me that substances can't be addictive. It's your post traumatic stress disorder, like your traumas, that give you the need to feel like you need to substitute or fill a void with something.
Yeah.
And you're trying to soothe yourself. You're trying to soothe your trauma.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's us trying to help ourselves. there's nothing wrong with that. But what we know is alcohol, drugs that take us to a place that's not our reality anymore.
Yeah.
That gives us a sense of peace and euphoria and belonging. So yeah, the whole take on like addiction is interesting as well.
Is he the guy that did the experiment with the mice?
Yeah. No, that was, I'm not sure if it was him, but I've read that.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah. When
Have
they
you heard about that?
isolated rats and they put morphine in
Yeah,
their
morphine.
water.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and was just going to show the differences in like if they have like companionship and love and affection, they won't
They don't
drink
go.
the water.
Yeah.
Whereas like if one's alone in isolation, it just gets like fucked up on the
Yeah.
shit like all the time.
It's so crazy.
And that's a good reflection of how humans are. We're made for connection.
100%.
Like, we can't live without people.
Well,
There's
you
some people
see-
that can, but like we need each other.
Well, you see during quarantine, suicide rates have skyrocketed
Oh my
across
God,
the
for
board
sure.
for
It's
people,
pretty
right?
tragic.
Yeah. So where
need to do
where do we
mushrooms.
introduce this? Because this has to be like a societal change. Like it has to be a complete cultural shift in how we do things, how we approach schools, how we approach even like preschools. We don't have a sense of learning about what the earth is in any school, in any curriculum. I have two kids that came out of the education system. One's 13, one's 19. Everything that they know about the earth physically, we taught as parents. We did. The school system doesn't teach that. So it has to kind of start at that like,
Land back.
Yeah.
Fix this.
yeah. You need some real leaders out there kicking some ass
Yeah,
and like,
you need indigenous governance.
yeah.
At least indigenous government.
Yeah. Well, some
Right? Like,
representation
Some proper
first.
representation.
Yeah. No, this is.
Isn't that an oxymoron? Indigenous government.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
It would
I
be
think
a
governance
start.
would be would be different.
Yeah, that's a European term.
Yeah.
Governance and
Yeah. It would be.
Indigenous
legislation
rights,
and
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think we're even though it has to go deeper and harder than that. It has to be teaching. Still give people time to fuck around. You know what I mean? Like, well, we're learning. We're just in the learning stage right now.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
know
like
what you
recycling. We've been in the learning recycling stage for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, still learning, right? And it's like it'll be the same with racism unless something drastic happens. I'm sorry. This is from Costco.
Get
so
all
it
Hulk
should
on
be
us.
okay, and I can return it if it isn't. Right?
Yeah. No, I know. What
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would be great to have, instead of this one party government, it would be nice to have two governance. We'd have the indigenous leaders and we'd have the elected Canadian leader.
that would never happen.
But we can't even have that
Like,
because
that would never happen.
I know.
you can't change
It'd
the.
be amazing.
You can't change it. You have to change the model. The whole model has to change. You can't have governance by individual.
You can't reform a system that's made.
Yeah, no, the system,
Like a
the system's
country
got to
within a
break.
country.
The system's got to break. The individual representation, like the idea of like electing a leader for a district, all that stupid shit, that's got to go. You can't have one person designated to run a whole area or a community.
horrible.
You can't have people that have always been wealthy make laws for people that are broke. It doesn't. You're never ever gonna fix it. No individual politician. I love Bernie Sanders. I love everything about him, including the motherfucking mittens. But he's not individually not gonna change the world. He'll institute some things that'll help people, but he's not gonna change.
The whole system.
It's gotta break.
Yeah.
He'll be treated like Trump if he ever made it the president.
No, man, Bernie's good.
No,
Dude, Bernie was
they
in the
won't
front
respect
lines with MLK getting arrested.
I know.
Black and white pictures of him being arrested, man. That guy he's down from day one.
America, you know America. It's freaking horrible.
But yeah, you can't reform a system that's built on economics only
Yeah.
to try and say that we're going to heal the world.
So
with
I have some
some
friends.
sort of change in there. It'll work.
I have some friends that are gonna watch this, and some of my friends are like, capitalists and like, appreciate the system as is because they benefit from the system. If you had a magic wand, yeah.
Oh fuck, we
Well-
got some deep shit here.
Well, the thing is like, I'm not gonna mention the names obviously, but they know who they are. But if you have a magic wand, how do you reform? What do you create? In the place of this system that we have.
I don't reform.
Like, what do you mean? What do you create?
Yeah, because
You
we have
wave your arm and something
we have a
changes?
government, we have elections, these things that create governance. We have
Oh.
tax.
Governance. Land back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I would do. Like, we have to listen to them. They know how to take care of the earth. They know
Absolutely.
what's going on. They've known what's going on and how to make relationships with literally everything for the last, like, how many thousands of years? Land stewardship.
The originals.
This is what I would do.
That's his magic
you
sound.
can have the cement, and The indigenous people get all of the country.
The
So
cement.
the government takes where all the main, because all they really want is taxes. That's all they really want is to have a system of government that makes
And
money.
they can't. You have to stop building outside of it.
Got to stop building.
So this is what you have now. You can
Yeah.
have the concrete.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it.
Rest
Is
is goes
indigenous.
back to indigenous people.
So land back. So
Land
your
back.
answer is the same as mine. Land back.
Yeah.
And you govern that. So if we're gonna go cut down trees, your government of the country, right? They're not gonna say no, but we're going to make some different rules, or it's going to be your obligation to get us out of having to cut trees, and let's get a new energy source, or let's get another pulp source, right? But then that would force them all to work together, because the people in the country would still need stuff from the government. There would be a back and forth, a mutual
balance
thing,
of some
right?
kind.
You would hope that we could do something like that, but I think it would be fair. It would be fair. It's the only way you can really do it, because money means nothing to indigenous people. Their tribes are so strong financially. They don't need money. What they need back is respect, right? They need respect. And
So how do you expedite the process?
I don't know, man. I think we stop trying to be like the United States and start realizing we're a powerful country, and that we can just be ourselves here. And it's okay. We can, work with indigenous people and other races and just be cool, and stop worrying about the states and what they think and how many likes you have on fucking Instagram and all these stupid things that we do. That is the United States, man. We need to stop it. We need to just get along. Canada used to be the place where everybody got along.
Superficially.
Right?
Superficially.
I think we were just really good at hiding all our shit.
100%.
We were.
It's never been a friendly place for POCs.
To me,
ever.
I grew up my whole life.
Yeah, but
with brown people.
you look white though. You may be a POC, but you look white.
Yeah, but I'm basically more, because of my looks, I'm more to Caucasians.
100%.
Right?
It changes the way you get perceived and the way you perceive. Just that alone, man.
Yeah, but I grew up with brown guys my whole
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? I wasn't not exposed to a culture. I was more exposed to your culture than my own. I didn't know my black culture till I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it. Right? So, I mean, I don't know how you change. I don't know how you change, man. But I think it's, you got to change people's minds somehow, right? But I agree with you on the land
I
back.
hope everyone starts microdosing. Like connecting with their land.
So
They'll be like,
true.
oh my gosh, land back. What have we been doing this whole time?
It's the
Everyone's
answer.
doing macrodoses. They're like, what have we been doing?
So
Yeah, can you imagine if everyone in government did psychedelics?
oh my god.
Oh my God. Yes.
Speaking of government, just quick little side story here. Rod Phillips. That's the guy that went on vacation when he was telling everybody to quarantine. You hear about this politician? No. Oh my god. So first of all, fuck Rod Phillips. So yeah. So okay, during Christmas break, right? Everyone is supposed to stay home in quarantine. He's telling his constituents stay home in quarantine, and this motherfucker goes on a Caribbean vacation.
Of course he was.
The worst part about it is he was doing these daily tweets and showing pictures of himself in front of a fireplace at home, all cozy and shit.
guy.
And one day he's doing this little Twitter video, and he's in front of this backdrop, and it just happens to be a green screen, and you can hear waves crashing in the background.
Oh, wow. He brought his
Can you imagine that shit? There's waves, and someone called him out on Twitter and said, "Why the fuck are there waves in the background?"
Yeah.
And then it all hit the fan, and he had to resign as. But the worst part is the thing that fucking makes me so mad. He had to resign as a finance minister, but he gets to keep his job as an MP, and he gets to keep getting paid, and he keeps his pension,
Privilege.
and no one fucking said
Total
it's. That's
privilege,
it. That's it. Not even a slap on the wrist.
Oh.
Not even.
They did that.
That's too harsh. That was too harsh. They didn't even do that. They just took a title away from him. He was already getting paid the same fucking money to do this job.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
brutal.
so fuck Rod Phillips, bitch ass.
Well, first of all, I got to say, Rod Phillips, congratulations for being a 50-something-year-old man who knows how to work a green screen, because that shit took me forever. And if he figured it out...
I had to sound afterwards, you jackass.
You fucking jackass. Right? But number two is, I wonder what would happen if it was, a woman.
Or Jagmeet Singh.
Did they busted a woman yet?
Oh, boy.
Or Jasmeet Singh?
Oh, they would have fucking ruined him.
Why does it always have to be the white guy? Like, I'm not saying...
Well,
going
because
back
they
into
know they
this
can get
rant or
away with
anything,
it. Do they know they can get away with it?
They know that's another thing about the privilege too, and you know you can get away with something.
Look at the Capitol building. Look at the Capitol building, man. They were smiling and waving at the cameras. They didn't give a fuck. They knew we're gonna leave here. No one's gonna touch us. We're gonna get home.
They had
We're gonna be
people
neighborhood
tweeting.
heroes.
They had a senator. Wasn't it a senator who was there? Or senators.
I know there were a couple of senators
And stuff.
couple
they,
of these
they were
motherfuckers
texting
were
on Instagram
yeah.
that what they're doing and how they're laughing, haha, about doing illegal activity. I'm like, this didn't make sense.
Yeah. That's very frustrating.
This is the problem with America, man. There's 70 million of those people there.
I feel like every podcast episode become to a point where we talk about privilege at some point.
Privilege, man. It is
Yeah.
the worst thing. Entitlement is the absolute worst quality on this planet.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's the worst, man. It's the one thing.
Entitlement. Oh, I like
Think about it. There's really nothing other than
Makes me
rapo vibe. All right, there's rapo vibe,
Oh,
and there's
man.
and there's entitled. Those are the two creepiest things.
Kind of
to
mad
be
that you
around,
put that out.
right.
But you're talking like rapo?
Rapo vibe, like guys like, hey.
Oh, there's
are you
rapey
single?
dudes. They're just rapey dudes, you know?
That's entitlement. That's
Yeah.
another, that's just a
Oh,
form
for
of
sure.
entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It
yeah.
is.
It is.
Big
I
time.
guess.
It's entitlement in a weird.
Hey man, I have a daughter, and obviously the way men treat women terrifies me. But
Crazy.
we made sure when we all train MMA together. I know she can kick ass. She's strong.
Someone up.
She demands attention. She demands her respect, right? So I don't know what's gonna fuck with her.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah, we gotta do that for our babies, man. Put them in martial arts. I tell all my friends, man, put your kids in martial arts. Make sure they know how to defend themselves. Because the first time I encountered racism, I was like 10 years old, man. Yeah, I'm brown skinned, but I got called the N-word when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck? You can't even get your derogatory terms right, But that's what racism is, right? It's
Yeah.
stupidity.
Oh, it was
Totally.
horrible.
Ignorance and
Entitlement.
stupidity, yeah.
Yeah, the first
Fucking
time I heard that
entitlement.
I was like 10 years old too, I think, around that age.
Yeah, it's
Told my mom
insane.
that, right, in school. That was horrible, man.
Someone says it's your mom, too, man. You just want to fucking
Well, the worst part
kill
was
him.
about it. My mom's black, and the worst part about it was that I said she wasn't my mom because I hadn't been taught about my culture or about racism. I didn't know.
And then
I
you
was
got
a-
this
I was a
hate
little
coming at
kid,
your
man.
mom,
I
yeah.
had all these kids on me. I'm this little, almost redheaded. I was redheaded, half black kid. You know what I mean? And I was like, "That's not my mom." That's the first thing I said.
Fuck.
And so it's you know what I mean. And then you don't. That didn't hit me till I was in my like 20s, 30s. I was like, "Holy shit, yeah, I remember that." Right? And the impact of it.
It's transformative, man.
Yeah, it is. And
Definitely.
you don't realize that as a kid, but that shapes how you think about yourself, right? And how you feel about others. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I always, as I grew up, I gained a lot of weight and I became a muscle kid. I always grabbed the brown kid in my school. And the small Indian kid, have neat.
I've had
Text,
need.
I know you're listening, right? I grab all of them and I buddy them. They were always my friends, right? Because they were always getting picked on.
Yeah.
'Cause the brown kid always got picked on back in the day, right? And so I always grab that. And that was just from experiencing the bullying as a kid. So
Where did you
crazy.
grow up?
Victoria.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a weird island life.
Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria. Another.
Victoria, British
Yes,
Columbia.
another royal reference. No wonder I'm such an
Man, we can't get into the royal family. I'm just gonna get mad if we
All
get
right,
into the
so
royal
let's do
family.
this.
Let's get into your music
Before
instead.
we get into your music, we're gonna do a little top 5 with you. All right, so we're gonna ask you a question. Yeah, we're gonna ask you a question. We'll do top 3 if you don't want to do 5, but at least 3, and you just give
Impulse.
us your top 3
On impulse?
ones. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
Let's see.
things that
Well, you could put some
I'm
thought
the
into
kind
it.
of person that, like, I'm learning to be more impulse. but
Okay,
I'm
this
usually
is good. This is fast
I'm usually
thinking.
Like, let me think about it for a second. I'm
Yeah.
always that person. Let me just. I'll just.
You'll be
think
good
about
at
that for a
this.
second.
You'll be good at this. All right, here you go. You want me to start? Or you want to
Go
start?
for it. You go
All right, I'll
first.
start. All right, so we'll just do something simple. Who are your top 5 female R&B vocalists? Favorite? Let's go.
It's rotating. Jasmine Sullivan,
Ooh.
Faith Evans,
Hmm.
Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. Is that even it? Sade.
Ooh.
Sade.
Yes.
That's
Mariah? Not Mariah in there?
Right now, she
not-
said.
Not right now.
Rotating.
That was
Sade.
That's another
Sade.
brand
Love
drop
her.
of. Let me think about that.
Yeah. Nah, she's one of my favorites all
Sade?
time. Oh, man.
Oh,
Always in the
Smooth
playlist.
Operator.
Dude, the voice is just
Buddy,
magic.
when I was in jail, that was one of my. I only had about 5 or 6 CDs, and I got some of the tapes that I had are right there. They're sitting in that thing because I had a tape player too. And one of the CDs was Sade.
Oh man, she's so.
And
good.
on the
She's
flip,
so good.
no, it was a burned one. So on the other one, it was Maxwell.
Oh,
so I had
love
Maxwell.
My dad.
Yes,
Maxwell.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm in my room in the jail, and I'm listening to this Smooth Operator. Oh yeah, listen, see, Maxwell.
Oh, yeah,
that's a
man.
blast, little pass.
That
That's
woman's
cool.
worth
That's pretty
falsetto.
cool. And you know all those artists. I don't know the first one you said, but
Jasmine
you have,
Sullivan. Oh,
you
man.
have a little bit of each one of them in your voice.
That's crazy.
You do. You have
Wow.
Erica Badu in your
Badu's so
voice.
dope.
I told her when she came in,
This was crazy too. Yeah.
right? So she came in. I said, "Listen, before you talk or whatever." I didn't say that. I said,
Don't you say anything
I
about
said,
entitlement? I'm just gonna put it right here.
I come off a little fucked up. I come off a little fucked up sometimes.
I'm just joking.
All right. But I said, "Do you have Faith Evans?" You just when I heard her, that was because she's my favorite.
Dude,
female
Faith is
artist.
incredible. Faith
She's
is
got
incredible.
it, man.
Insane.
Yeah, her voice is outrageous.
Yeah.
Super underrated.
I really thought that's who she was lip syncing to in that. And that
Lip
was-
syncing. Ain't no lip syncing,
But
man.
it was no lip syncing. Like
Nope.
that was your voice. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to her Instagram. We're gonna put the info.
Yes.
And listen.
Yes.
And you'll see it. And tell me if I'm crazy.
Okay,
You
so
do all stuff with this. I'm like, ugh.
It's good. But
yo,
this
you gotta
is
get
the-
used to it.
This
You
is
gotta
the level you want to go. and you
embrace
need to
it.
be
Embrace
at.
it. Love it.
You need to be
And know
there.
that it's you that people are appreciating. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's valuable.
Alright,
Valuable
your
shit.
five. Favorite.
Top 5 MCs.
Like rappers.
Yeah.
Missy.
Yes.
He's like, yes.
Love Missy.
Missy's getting some props these days.
Yeah, she's great.
Damn. MCs. So Missy. This is hard.
Yes, that's the goal.
Is like, are we talking female or?
Oh no, just period,
male?
just period. But see, I feel like I learn things from people when I get to know who their favorites are. You kind of get a piece of.
KRS-One.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
taking it back right now.
See, I always get like
It's
messed
God.
up with this. Like, why would you ask MC and not rapper?
Well, they rapper.
Yeah, you could say either or.
rapper.
Either or. I say MC because I grew up in the era of
Yeah,
MCs. You know.
I like Busta Rhymes.
Yes.
Yeah, Buster was good, man.
Bust.
Yeah.
Who else I listen to? I listen to a lot of my sister's stuff too.
How about like Wu-Tang Clan? Wu Tang.
I haven't
Back in the
listened to
day?
enough, but
It's deep.
yeah.
Catalog is
Method
deep.
Man.
Come on, they got 10 MCs,
Method
man.
Man. My sister listened to Redman.
Redman, yes.
Who else?
How about like Eminem? What do you think about Eminem?
I know and understand that he's an amazing writer. He's an amazing artist, but I never really listened to him.
Didn't buy the
much.
shtick, eh?
Well, it's hard to
didn't
listen
either.
to the kind of chaos that he talks about, right?
Yeah, I didn't
Because
really-
you,
He's a
everyone.
brilliant writer. He's
Oh,
a
he's
genius.
fucking
But I
yeah.
just never listened. I never listened to him.
You see him trying to make a comeback right now?
Well, I don't think he has to make. I just don't think.
Did you see that thing I sent you though about the write the hook?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, he's technically the best writer, hip hop artist in existence. The way he writes technically is beautiful. But dude, like the shit he talks about, not everyone can relate to beating up their girlfriend or like
Yeah.
saying "fuck you" to your mom and stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to relate to the content. So I just appreciate the bars because the bars are like, man,
Yeah, totally.
woo. Do you ever get into any like Big and Pac or?
Tupac. I remember coming home one day from school, my dad blasting Tupac
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I got out of the house. It's hilarious, but yeah,
Sounds like a dope house.
yeah. No, I appreciate it, and I love hip hop. But I did grow up around a lot of like jazz and funk and like world music. I listen to a lot of music that's like non in English.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like vocal styles, of course, like singing. So a lot of like Arabic and Indian vocals.
Yeah.
Like just blast that shit.
Yeah, those
Love
Indian
it.
vocals, they got some different kind of range,
Different
man.
scales for
Yeah.
sure that people on this part of the world could not even fathom making that sound with
Yeah,
their mouth.
yeah.
Unless you were trained. Same thing with Arabic
Yeah.
vocal scales
Mm-hmm.
and like there's parts of the language.
They're all Mariah Carey's there.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Najma
Yeah.
Karam is like Mariah Carey of
Yeah,
Lebanon.
like
Crazy.
Mariah who?
Yeah, pretty
So you
much.
start to
Do this?
you start to listen to and understand a lot of different languages, kind of.
I do appreciate. I'm a sound person.
Mhm.
I love sounds.
Yeah.
I love language, music, like sounds of things cracking. Like, it just I'm like, oh, what's that? What is this? I'm like weird about it. Very sensitive for sure. It's very sensitive sense for me.
All right, so here's my 5. Your next one. Your top decades of music. All right. So
Wow.
you have a very vast knowledge of music. So
Top 5.
you can go top 3. Best,
Damn,
the best,
five.
He's gonna-
best 3
not even
decades
half.
of music
2,000 years ago.
and style, because you got to look at style and class of music, right? Where do you think? Where do you take the top 3?
That
the
will
best years?
fluctuate for sure again. But I don't know where my influences came from. I guess the 70s, like funk.
Yeah.
Um,
Funk and rock. There was funk
yeah,
rock in that time.
90s
disco.
R&B,
Oof. Baby making music.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
70s, 90s.
funk, 90s R&B, and then like indigenous music.
Yeah.
So like literally thousands
Timeless.
of years ago.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Pretty much music.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool, eh? The indigenous music. What instruments were in indigenous music? It's drums and
Yeah, like drums and I guess it depends on the area you're
Yeah.
talking about too. Strings, I guess it's something.
Yeah.
Would you consider that indigenous? Strings?
it's pretty
Would
good.
you consider like a berimbau, like the
Oh, yeah.
Brazilian instrument?
Yeah,
String.
definitely
I guess
indigenous.
that's
Yeah,
a
this
string,
is
yeah.
that's a string.
Yeah, like things like that.
So what instruments do you play?
This guitar. Play the
Nice.
vocal string.
Oh, and you happen to have one here today.
Convenient.
I do. It's my favorite color. This is my favorite color.
All right,
Beautiful.
show that guitar to everyone here.
It's beautiful.
Favorite
I'll
color.
go plug it.
It's always been fluctuating. It's like,
Are you self-taught?
yes.
It's even more dope.
Oh, you're self-taught.
It was definitely an on and off thing. Like I picked it up, played it pretty hardcore for like 6 months, and then put it down for like a year, doing that kind of thing. Still like fluctuate with it now, but yeah, this is my favorite color. My dad helped me pick this. What would I do without him?
From what it
That
sounds
is a
like,
pretty
from
big
what it sounds like, his
influence.
effect is
Yeah.
big.
Sorry?
From what it sounds like, his effect has been big.
Yeah.
It's huge.
You're so lucky.
So we got Xhalida in the place, and she's gonna bless us with something that she wrote. Let people know what it's called.
You have to turn off your mic during this.
Oh yeah, let people know what it's called, where they can
So
find
this
it.
is the song that I'm, a little bit of a snippet of the song that I'm going to be releasing on Friday. It's called Beautiful Life, and I wrote this when the BLM movement started, and a song for my community. They trying so hard to take us down, and they don't want us to make no sound. Brothers, sisters, gather round. We must stand tall, it must be now. Together fight with our love, and for our ancestors up above, our children's future lives. Use your voice, wear your pride. Use your voice, wear your pride. Sometimes it's hard to see the light. In darkness you feel blind. Remember what this feels like. Take my hand, we'll be alright. Pray deep to yourself and love yourself like no one else. Build your strength from inside. Speak your truth, this is your time. Speak your truth, this is your time. Yeah, that's a little snippet for you.
Yo.
Yeah. Thank you.
So spell it out for them so they know where to find you.
My name?
Yes.
Xhalida, and then add an A if you're trying to find me on Instagram.
Dude.
But yeah, that song's called Beautiful Life. It was very satisfying when I finished writing that song. This is what I feel like I needed to express and share, and I hope that everyone feels as much love as I'm trying to give in the song.
Yes.
And how much love I feel from the community. So, yeah.
It's amazing.
Amazing stuff, man.
It's unbelievable.
Nowhere else but the High Phrase podcast.
And we got her before she became famous.
That's
Dude.
funny too. People are like, "Remember me when you're famous." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I don't even know what to. I don't know.
But this is the route you're doing, and you're embracing social media like you are, and you're putting yourself out there, and that's important. And you just got to keep grinding.
Yeah.
It's a
In
grind.
the best way that I can.
Just don't give up.
Yeah, I feel like the best way that I can, and something that sticks in my head all the time is when I'm writing or when I'm expressing, and advice I'd have to give to like artists is create music that you want your children to learn from. So don't create all this bullshit, all this like degrading, hateful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can express yourself in your sadness, and that's what people can relate to, but you're still expressing and connecting with people.
Yeah.
And like with a lot of the music that we all hear now, it's just like, oh my god, I can't even listen to this. It's like,
Yeah, but there's fans, you gotta get into the fans' brains and kind of redirect their attention because it's getting support. It might not be what we like, but it's getting a lot of support. And a lot of trash rappers are making a lot of money.
So much money.
Yeah.
People are
So
making money with no talent,
yeah.
right? And you just got to go out there. I don't know. I think you just got to keep putting out music. I guess as a musician, that's all I would do, right?
What do you see for yourself in music?
I love writing. I never actually thought I would love writing as much as I did. Like songwriting's fun. It's so satisfying.
Yes.
When I'm done. But yeah, more albums. I would love to learn how to like produce, because when I'm in the studio with my producer that I'm working with, I am like helping him arrange stuff. I'm like, I want this to sound like this, put this here. So I'm like already doing it. I just don't know how to express it on a computer because I can't technology.
Yeah.
But I want to learn for sure because I'm already doing that, and I have ears for it, and I can hear I can hear music in my head all the time.
That's important.
Another thing is I can just like visualize things all the time too. It never stops, so I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you love songwriting, you got to write for somebody. How would you?
Nah, don't write for yourself, man. You got the voice.
I would love to sit down and write with someone. And like, how do you like help them? Help them express like what they're trying to like express on paper.
Yeah.
Definitely, I wouldn't feel comfortable writing a song for someone and just like, because that's a connection. That's me.
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
I would like to someone's input and like help them, but I couldn't just write a piece of music and give it to someone. I don't think.
So you're playing at a gig, and you're playing your original music, and a hooded figure comes out of the shadows.
It's always a hooded figure,
and it's Erykah Badu.
Oh my god!
And she's like, "That song you sang was amazing, and I want to use it on my next album. And I want you to come in there and teach me how to sing it. Will you do it with me?"
Am I on the track?
Ooh, shit, that's some professional question.
That's real.
I'm Erykah Badu. So
that's the real question.
I gotta know
Badu
this.
Saying that she wants. First of all, she would never do that. She would
But she has to be hooded because if everyone knew it was Erykah Badu.
Yeah. So she likes the song and wants to pretty much jack my stuff.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
She wants to work with
Pay
you.
you,
You
but
get to produce the song, obviously, and write the song. Because I think, and they give you that in. And maybe that's your in into the next level.
For sure, that's me like collabing, but I would like make it a way that we're collabing on a song and writing together, and it's not just me giving her something of mine.
Get some background vocals in that motherfucker too, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be amazing.
See, she's got it, right? Like that's exactly what I think a professional should do. Is you would say, "No, I'm not giving this up. This is mine. I wrote this."
So how do we work together?
But we're.
Yeah.
It's hard though, yo. It's hard. It's
Listen,
hard when you write something and it's meaningful to you to give it to somebody else, man. It's very difficult, man.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that in the business.
Or even your name, like co-writing, like with that's a huge.
That's big.
deal.
That's a big.
So for sure.
Because then that kind of gets you in the door too, right? When you're.
Dude, it's a game changer. It's a game changer, man. A lot of big artists now used to write for bigger artists before them, right?
Yeah.
and they just
Raphael
eventually blow
Sadiq
up.
is like one of my favorites too. He's like
Yes.
written and produced for so many R&B and like hip hop
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah. Underrated, Raphael
He's
Sadiq.
amazing.
And then Tony.
His story is really crazy too.
Yeah,
I
and then
haven't
you had,
seen
you
it.
know.
I'm gonna look that up.
I just did. I was like looking at Catholic Clinic one day. I was just stoned. Raphael Sadiq just read his whole wiki. Damn, this man's life is ridiculous. Like,
And he writes for a lot of current young artists as well.
yeah, he's a genius.
That pen game is mighty.
His song with D'Angelo. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
D'Angelo. Brown sugar.
He don't take his shirt off in videos anymore.
No.
That's true.
That's changed a little bit.
I know, man. I'm watching. I know.
But his voice is that voice, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
His voice
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, this is dope, man.
yeah, it was really cool. It was
Hell
really
yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice
Yeah.
to see you again.
For sure.
I love that. Like when I was organizing that thing, that little get together at Trout Lake, I remember getting the message like, "Hey, I would love to be a part of this." I was like, "Fucking yes, of course!" I love this. I love that kind of like approach and like greeting and community. I loved it. It was really good. It was really cool, and it felt really good to like bring all these people that I knew and have them perform and watch each other. And yeah, it was really cool.
It's very important for artists to be able to see this kind of unity as well, because it makes them want to do more shows and get out there and
Support
do
each
things for
other.
people. Yeah, we don't have the greatest history with promoters in the city. Artists and promoters haven't really had the greatest relationship in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver. So yeah, it's kind of like almost like a generational thing. Yeah.
I can totally see that because you're promoting and you're just on a different agenda.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not an artist-friendly agenda.
Job for them.
That's where it's at.
That's where they don't. Well, I guess lots of them don't really give a shit about
Yeah,
The artists.
the
and
artist.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of how it goes.
they care about the customers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Money.
All right, cool.
High phrase.
Were you going to play out or something? Or?
Well, tell them where to find you.
Listen, man.
Listen, man.
Right? I'm not doing much. I'm
You're doing
El-
stuff. You're doing stuff.
I'm El Negro online right now. You can't see me, okay?
Hit the
I'm not doing
subscribe.
much.
Hit the dings.
But what you should do is just continue to follow us because we're going to have some podcast stem-offs coming up.
Yeah. A straight hip hop podcast.
Yeah.
90s
Got
podcast.
a 90s podcast coming.
We get some dope guests like
Yeah,
Xhalida on
really
to
good ones.
show her
And
skills.
we're also going to go to the shows and stuff because we want to help promote people as much as we can.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean? So we'll go to your show, hopefully in the...
When we're post-COVID.
Yeah, I guess it's post-COVID.
There's no shows. There's no
Well,
shows. But you have a show coming
You
up.
do have a show coming up.
It's on the 5th of February, so coming up pretty close here in Loft Lounge on Denman.
Dope.
Yeah.
On Instagram, it's Xhalida
Yep.
ALITE ACDJ. High Phrase Podcast, y'all. Peace.